Boxing Legends uploaded a video a couple weeks ago called The World's Most Deluded Boxer. And in his view, I guess he thinks the world's most deluded boxer is Chris Eubank Jr. I strongly disagree. As far as I'm concerned, the world's most deluded boxer is right here. Look no further than Deontay Wilder. This is a man who has come out and said that he thinks his fight against Tyson Fury is going to do 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. This is a man who is virtually unknown in his own country, and he thinks he's going to do 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. Canelo versus Golovkin didn't do that much. Mayweather against Andre Berto, his last actual real boxing match, didn't do anywhere near that much. I don't think Mayweather versus Berto even did 1 million. This guy thinks he's going to do 2.5 million with Fury. This guy is talking about, he's talking about so many things, but he's talking about 60-40 being the split that he wants for a fight with Anthony Joshua. That's what Deontay Wilder's talking about. He said 60-40, but just so the fight can happen. He's basically saying, I deserve 60-40, but I'm willing to give 50-50 just so the fight can happen. This guy is completely and utterly deluded, by far the most deluded fighter in boxing. Dan Rafael, who has been championed by the Wilder fanboys over the past couple of months with some of the things that Rafael has said. Dan Rafael, in this interview with Eddie Hearn, Dan Rafael appears towards the end here. If it will load, maybe not. You can see in the little thumbnail there anyway, right? Rafael's in this interview. And Rafael is told about this 50-50 that Deontay Wilder wants. And Dan Rafael, well, first of all, they talk about 60-40, and Dan Rafael says, who, for Joshua? No, for Wilder. And then Dan Rafael says, well, there's no fight then. 60-40, what's Wilder talking about? 60-40, what? What planet is he on? That's obviously what Dan Rafael's thinking. What planet is Deontay Wilder on when he's talking about 60-40 for Joshua? Anthony Joshua has been earning 5 times, 10 times as much as, I think 10 times nearly, as much as Deontay Wilder's been earning per fight. Yeah, like 10 times as much as Wilder's been earning per fight. And Wilder's talking about 60-40 in my favor. He's a madman. 50-50 is even ridiculous. 60-40 in Joshua's favor is extremely generous. That's extremely generous to Wilder, 60-40. This guy is not living on planet Earth. And it's like I've been saying recently, I don't know whether his team are gassing him up. I have to imagine they are. The likes of Shelley Finkel, etc. They're gassing him up. Making him believe things that are not true. I mean, look at his reaction to the news of Canelo signing to DAZN. He was shocked by that. You could tell in his body language and in his voice he was shocked. Because this is a guy who was saying DAZN was going to crash and burn and no major fighters would sign to DAZN. This guy is being badly ill-advised when it comes to what's going on in the world of boxing and what's going on with negotiations with other teams, so on and so forth. Deontay Wilder is a hillbilly. Again, a very good fighter, a hell of a fighter. I'm not disrespecting Deontay Wilder as a fighter, as a warrior. No, I'm not one of those people who'll do that. But in terms of a businessman at the negotiating table, Deontay Wilder is incompetent and totally inept at the negotiating table as a businessman. What comes out of his mouth 99.9% of the time with regards to business is pure foolishness. And this is another prime example of it. Now, I hope that Deontay Wilder is being sarcastic. I hope that Deontay Wilder's words are not representative of the position of his team. That's what I hope. I hope Deontay Wilder actually wants this fight and he's genuinely deluded. I hope that this is not an indication that Wilder doesn't want the fight and that he's pricing himself out. That's what I hope. Because that means the fight's never going to happen if Wilder don't really want it. I don't think Wilder's scared, but I'm not in his head. I think Wilder does want the fight. That's my gut instinct. I think he does want to fight, but I could be wrong. And I don't know whether his team want to fight. That's the thing. Are his team putting him up to saying these kind of things, making these ridiculous statements, talking about 60-40s and 50-50s? He's just so out of touch with reality. Remember when he pretended to faint at the news that his fight with Fury had sold $1 million worth of tickets in like half an hour? $1 million worth of tickets in he thought that was incredible. He thought that meant that he was on a different level to Anthony Joshua. Not knowing that Anthony Joshua sells about $5 million worth of tickets in about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. He's not living on planet Earth, this guy. And his diehard supporters aren't either, for the most part. There are a few diehard Wilder supporters who actually have a brain in their head that functions. But most of them don't. Most of them are way, way out there. Total space cadets, right? That's how out there they are. Totally detached from reality, and they need to get back on this planet. For this fight to happen, Deontay Wilder needs to get back on this planet. Yeah, because the stuff he's talking right now is ridiculous. So, and Deontay Wilder's mind is in such a bizarre place at this point. You have to wonder where he's at mentally going into the Fury fight. From what I'm seeing right now, Tyson Fury might be in a better place mentally than Deontay Wilder going into their fight. Because Fury's not thinking about Joshua, and Fury's not thinking about DAZN, and Fury's thinking about fighting Wilder and beating Wilder. He's not thinking of anything beyond Wilder at this point. Wilder is, though. Wilder's thinking about Joshua this, Joshua that, DAZN, and all these kind of distractions, and making himself out to be this killer. With a Steven Seagal whispering. That's what Deontay Wilder's constantly doing, trying to prove himself. This act that Deontay Wilder's putting on. And it is an act. He's more interested in all that stuff. Is that the right mind frame to be going into the Fury fight with? This delusional mind frame. Now, again, I've said before that in boxing, as Chris Eubank Sr. has said many times, or several times, you have to be deluded in boxing. You have to believe things which nobody else believes in order to achieve greatness in boxing. You have to do that. When Floyd Mayweather Jr. was a young kid, maybe he's not a great example because of the fact that he comes from a boxing family and he achieved so much as an amateur. But let's say when he was a very young kid, if he had told you then, I'm going to be one of the greatest fighters of all time, I'm going to be whatever he was, 48-0, undefeated, 50-0, and I'm going to be a multi-weight world champion and all this kind of stuff. How many people in Flint, Michigan, is he from Flint? I believe he's from Flint, right? How many people in Flint would have believed him? Some maybe, because of the fact he does come from a boxing family and he was very talented from young. But there would have been a lot of people who didn't believe him. There would have been a lot of people who said, nah, you might be good, but you're not that good. He believed something which most other people didn't believe. It might not be the greatest example, and there are probably much better examples. Mike Tyson, probably a better example, right? When Tyson was sent to reform school and started boxing with Bobby Stewart, how many of his friends at the time believed Mike Tyson could be a world champion? Customado was telling him you can be world champion the first couple times he saw him box in the gym as a little kid. Tyson didn't believe it himself at the time. Eventually he did. But how many other people believed him? In boxing, you have to believe stuff that most other people don't believe. And they call that delusion, right? When you believe something that most other people don't believe, they call you deluded. So in boxing, you have to be deluded to a certain extent. But there's levels to this. Deontay Wilder's supposed to believe in himself in terms of what he does in the ring. That's what he's supposed to do. But at the negotiating table, geez, man, he's not qualified in that area. But with regards to his fight against Fury, the delusion there might be that he thinks he can just go in there and hit Fury on the chin once and the fight's done. Is he underestimating Fury's ability to outbox him? I guess we'll find out on December 1. Let me know how you guys feel about everything I've talked about in this video. If you're looking for the most deluded fighter in boxing, look no further than Deontay Wilder. He's right here. Totally deluded. And I'll get on to what Eddie Hearn's response was to Deontay Wilder in a separate video. But in this video, I want you guys to tell, particularly the Wilder fanboy, I want to hear from you. When Wilder's talking about 50-50s and 60-40s and all this kind of stuff, are you seriously co-signing that? See, this is why I've been saying for the longest that Deontay Wilder's fans, most of them, they don't really want to see the Joshua fight. If they really wanted to see the Joshua fight, there's no way they would co-sign 60-40 and 50-50. No. That is the smoking gun right there, which shows you that these Wilder fanboys don't really want the Joshua fight. Because they know that with 50-50, 60-40, the fight can't happen. They know that. Deep down, they know that it's ridiculous for Wilder to be demanding that much. They don't want the fight. Wilder, I'm not as sure about. But boy, is he deluded. Again, I'll get on to the splits Eddie Hearn deems acceptable, depending on how many pay-per-view buys Wilder Fury does. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below, people. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.